I think I've always really liked Nightwing and Jason Todd, obviously Red Hood, a lot more than I've actually liked Batman. I think they are such interesting case studies because of Batman. And from where Arkham Knight leaves off, I fully believed in a Batman Sons of Arkham game. I would absolutely adore that game, where it is primarily Red Hood versus Nightwing, and I would love to see their lives. I would love to see their lives be contrasted. Just the outcome of Batman, where Batman's effect on Dick's life was so good. He saved this very athletic kid from a life of destitute. He picked him up off the street after his parents were killed, and then gave him a life to remember. And while that came with tragedy and pain, it came with him learning vast amounts of skills and having so much opportunity that he's just overall thankful for. Like, after he eventually forgives Batman for putting him through all that pain, he does come back to respect Batman. That's his whole thing. That's Nightwing's whole thing. He feels bitter about all the years of torment, but he doesn't know anything else, so he becomes Nightwing anyway, to also prove to himself that he is his own hero, but also to let out some anger against some bad guys, until he eventually forgives Batman. But then we contrast that with Jason, and Jason is such a sad character that I am so in love with as a concept. The second son, the middle child, who was picked up off the street, but he didn't have the special skills that Dick had. And Jason aspired to be everything that Dick was. Unlike Dick, Jason has someone to look at as the benchmark, someone he has to live up to. And I guarantee that it has to be a constant in every iteration. He always is insecure about himself not being able to get there. The fact that he can't quite put in his mind live up to this idea of the boy wonder. I think that's a good way to take the character, which feeds into his anger, where he's pissed off that he can't quite measure up the same way that the last Robin did, until he starts to also grow angry, and then he goes off on his own to fight the Joker, just like Nightwing tries to and succeeds at going off and being his own hero. Jason goes out to try and be his own hero and ends up dead. And then he comes back years later, revealing, nah, he survived, but the boy wonder died. The second boy wonder is gone, and now it is the Red Hood that's alive. The Arkham Knight turned Red Hood, and is now going on this angry spree. And I know typically this comes with this big arc of Jason going off on his own, but in the Arkhamverse, I would really love to see Dick and Jason have to go head to head. Maybe it could be under the idea of Jason is chasing some guys out of Gotham into Bloodhaven, but he's not going to let him get away. And that obviously leads him to Nightwing. The Red Hood meets Nightwing, and they have a face-off. And this would mean a lot to Jason, because this is his opportunity to prove that he's as good of or better than Nightwing, the first son, the pride of the family. I think it's such a fun idea. And in this idea, you'd be able to even get to see Bloodhaven, and I think that's a big one to me. Being able to see Bloodhaven is just so much fun, because Rocksteady did such a good job with Gotham, especially compared to the other two iterations of Gotham, like Gotham Knights and Arkham Origins. Like Gotham Knights takes all the problems from Arkham Origins in terms of their design and just increases it by 50% by adding another third island that's slow to traverse. But seeing Bloodhaven, I wonder what that would look like. It would have to be such a condensely populated city that you could get away with like Dick not having a cape. He could have just his grappling hooks. He could just use his batons to swing around because buildings are more compactly together. It's creating a harder shadow over the environment. I think all that would be awesome. I think the design of Bloodhaven has so much potential, especially if we had like this distinct difference of maybe like there's highways everywhere, which creates that big big difference in environment for like the people who could actually afford to be high class and then the people who are low class. And I feel like you could have a good contrast with Nightwing living near the top as Dick Grayson, and then you could have Jason down under because he has no life. Jason Todd has died. He can't have a job. He's gonna give his ID and then it's gonna turn up, oh, you died 7 years ago. I think there's so much potential for a good story there. I think Nightwing and Jason as Red Hood has so much potential to just be so much fun. Just so much fun. Because the two just work so well off of each other. And I know Tim exists in the Arkhamverse, but come on. You can't get better than those two interacting. It's too high a bar. Jason and Dick are just so good of like foils off of each other. And I really want that. I think I would gladly trade out Suicide Squad for Sons of Arkham. That's just what I'm calling it now. Yep, that's what I'm calling it now.